Hi guys, it's Andy from mcfcfantv and welcome to this post-match review, analysis, player ratings and man of the match tonight. And I've got two guests on. You saw Kurt last night. How are you, mate?
I'm still buzzing off the win. Woke up to a lot of snow and very cold, but apart from that, I'm doing great, mate.
Yeah, that's me too. It's freezing at the moment. Chris, how are you, mate?
On cloud nine, mate. Still happy with yesterday's win. Thought, don't win there very often, so yeah, really happy with that, Andy.
Yeah, mate, it's freezing, isn't it? It's absolutely freezing. But yeah, tried to take my dog out a minute ago, not having it. Looked outside, straight back in. So might be a bit later. But anyway, we're here to look over a bit of analysis on last night's game. Absolutely amazing performance by City. Absolutely battering Liverpool for parts of the game. But a wonderful, wonderful performance. And more importantly, a fantastic 3 points at Anfield. And, well, that just possibly, I said last night, possibly puts Liverpool out of the title race. But there's still a long way to go. Let's see who is on. Kamal Dwyer's on. Hi, guys. Still buzzing after yesterday. Ray Firmly still buzzing. Where's Martin going? Good luck. Martin? I thought Martin's with you, Chris.
Martin is. Oh, I have got Martin with me out here.
Oh, yeah. There he is. There he is.
Cagoule man.
There he is, Cagoule man. How you doing, Martin? You all right, mate? Yeah,
get that loaded on phone, he says.
Cameron's on. Hi, guys. How are you, mate? Adam Quinn is on. Hi, guys. Charlie Everett's on. Hi, guys. What a win on to Swansea. And then we go again versus Spurs, which is always difficult. It is, but a bit of revenge hopefully coming their way. Jack Lee, good evening, Blues. How are you, Jack? Dupes is on. Hey, guys. How are you, mate? Sean Fogarty's on. Hi, come on, City. Ivor's on. Money. Carl Smith, Man City, yay, you can't beat us, yay. He's happy. Carl Smith's happy. Alec Johnson, hi guys, how are you? Alec, hope you're well. Leonard's on. Evening, everyone. Andy, good evening to you, Leonard. Ivor says, LFC fans using every lame excuse in the book. Tossers, simple as. No more so than their manager. Frank, absolutely. Post-match interview was just embarrassing. Poor Allison's cold feet, eh? Hi, Chris, says Charlie. Goes to Greats on. Hi, guys. How are you, mate? And thank you very much for posting the timelines. I do apologise. By the time that you'd posted that, I was already in the middle of doing it and I did not see it come up by the time I'd posted mine. But I do appreciate you doing that. I really, really do. Nice to see you all, says Dupe. Paul, great win yesterday. It's looking good, lads and ladies. It is, mate. Sorry, a big jump there. Hi, Noah. Bet you're happy 2-0 up versus Palace. Yeah, I think Jack Harrison did he score the first with a deflected shot? I think something like that. So Leeds were good.
They're 2-0 up, aren't they?
I think. Oh, wow. Massive jump there. Let me just go back. And it's snowing. Kamal says Alisson Becker in net or Alisson Hammond. I know I'd go for. Hi, Peter Curry. Hello, how are you? Sean Fogarty, Gundogan, man of the match. We're going to do that later. Keep it for now. Evening, Noah. How are you? Alec Johnson says, anyone seen any Scouts or Rag fans? And don't blame lockdown. They're always the same, aren't they, mate? Miles says, Gundogan and Sterling were absolutely class. They were. We're going to talk about who you think and who we thought was man of the match last night. Wow, Foden goal. Yeah, it was amazing. Andy Milnes is on. How are you, Andy? Evening Blues. What game, what goal from Foden. It was absolutely incredible. Leonard likes your Martin. Chris, so does Dupe, so does Kamal. So Abson, how are you, mate? I'm very well, thank you. Hester Dunlop. Oh, we broke our taboo. Brilliant. How are you, Hester Dunlop? You're new. Bet Martin is happy legend. Martin, I'm sure, was very, very pleased last night. Goes to Grace says, Chris Legend. Abdallah's on. Hi, guys. Hope you're well. How are you? Kofi, as an excuse. I know it's embarrassing. We'll talk a little bit about that. Anyone else bored with pundits and fans going on about Liverpool and fatigue? City have been playing in every trophy for the last 10 years, non-stop, trying to win everything. Yeah, I mean, it's an old excuse, Paul. Absolutely old excuse. Charlie says, that's brilliant, Chris. You can make anything. Ooh, Christopher. Noah says, some Liverpool fans are so salty. They are saying you only won because you spent loads of money and fans are in the stadium. Can't stand some Liverpool fans. Well, I mean, Noah, that we know what they're like. They are what they are, and we just have to move on and just think about ourselves. Who else is on? Ray Fernley says Sir Phil Foden. Scotty Mole's on. Hi all. What a win, still buzzing. Oh, you're actually positive today. Scotty Mole very positive in the comments last night, though. I'll give you that. I think what's more pleasing is the fact that the Liverpool fans will get a chance to see their champions with a trophy. That's a very good point. They'll do a bus parade, won't they? You know what they're like. You know, bloody all turn up for the opening of an envelope, that lot. Got to say, Foden is absolutely class. Ivor says, I've always respected Klopp and I still regard him very highly, but he's defo been schooled on Merseyside. It's actually sad because he's embarrassing himself. He's becoming pathetic. And you know what? For a change, pundits are now sort of having a look at him and going, wasn't ideal. Even Carrick has said it, and I think some ex-Liverpool players have said it, and an awful lot of pundits have come out today and said it's not great. It isn't great. Kamal says credit to Pep on the way integrate Foden into the squad. Yeah, said it all along. We have to trust in the way Pep is going to bring Foden into the team. Rodri has gone unnoticed in the improvements. We're going to talk about Rodri as well. Pardo Oaks, hi lads. Jamie Short's on. So many people on tonight. Rodri appreciation needed. Yeah, we'll certainly give him that. I hope Foden doesn't do anything stupid in the future. If he does then I think he could be better than Messi or Ronaldo. Wow, that's a big shout, Sean. Certainly for somebody at 20. Alisson assist was mint. Well, his 2 assists were mint. And they say he's better than Edison. Yeah, we said that on last night's live watch along. Anyone else on? Peter Curry said, who should take penalties? Good question, Peter. Something we might talk about. Liam Matthews is on, says hello. So does Ocean Rage. How are you, Ocean Rage? Hope you're well. Evening to you too. Dupe finally says Foden is the best youngster after Haaland and Mbappe. Right, lineups. Let's go through the lineup just to make sure that everybody is on the same page. So, starting off with Liverpool. Liverpool had Alisson, Alexander-Arnold, Fabinho, Henderson, Robertson. In a back 4, then the 3 was Thiago Alcantara, Wijnaldum, Jones, and Salah, Firmino, and Mane. So pretty strong lineup. Missing probably maybe Van Dijk with Henderson back into the midfield. But apart from that, all right, they had Jones there. You could say it was maybe the likes of a navigator or someone like that in there, but it was a very strong lineup. City went with Edison, Cancelo, Stones, Ruben Diaz, and Zinchenko. If we call it what we started off with a 4-3-3, Bernardo Silva, Rodri, and Gundogan, Mahrez, Foden, and Sterling. So that was the lineup. With regards to if we just have a quick look at the match stats, overall, surprisingly, well, not surprisingly, but the way the game panned out, Liverpool had 56% possession, Man City had 44. The shots was 8 apiece. Shots on target was 3 for Liverpool, 5 for City. Liverpool had 6 corners. City only had 1 corner all night. 13 fouls for Liverpool and 8 for City. So first off, very quickly, I'm going to come to you first, Chris. Just a very quick summing up before we go into the goals and the timeline of events. What did you think generically of the game?
Game of two halves, I think. And I thought it was a dreadful first half, if I'm honest with you. I think Liverpool shaded. It didn't create a lot. Mane had a very, very good chance with his header. Thought the penalty came a bit against the run of play. Absolutely dreadful penalty by Gundogan. But I was just said to Kurt beforehand, I read earlier of the last 6 penalties that have missed the target. City have taken 4 of them, and 3 of them have been against Liverpool. So it's a complete weird situation. It is. You'd never expect Gundogan not to make the keeper work. So, and then, I think second half Pep made the right changes. Little shifts in how we had things working, and then all of a sudden we saw that Zinchenko and Cancelo weren't so isolated, because I think the Trent Alexander-Arnold and Robertson had way too much space in that first half. You cannot afford them that much room for the deliveries, and we sussed that out second half. Gundo got back into the game. Gundo had a fantastic second half. I don't know how to even mark Gundo. I would have given him probably a 4.5 for the first half and a 9 for the second half. He was fantastic. And I think then we just we looked like the better team. I think Liverpool's heads dropped. We did well with the goals. Daft penalty, but I think overall we deserved to win. Whether it was a 4-1 victory, we've only got Alisson to thank for that, I think.
Yeah, it was. I saw Liverpool fans on Twitter this morning saying, it was all down to Alisson's 2 mistakes, and I had to remind them it was 4-1. It wasn't, it wasn't 2-1. We scored 4 goals, not just the 2 assists from Alisson in 2 of the goals, so we still would have won and missed a penalty and had a goal ruled offside. So, interesting. We said that in the first half, didn't we? Me and you, Kurt, last night. We thought that, especially with players like Robertson and Alexander-Arnold, who are both notoriously very good crossers of the ball, the amount of space that we were giving them in that first half was quite frightening. And I think we discussed, didn't we, the way that the pairings, or whether it be the midfield pairings with their fullbacks, were not tracking back for that first half. So what were your thoughts on that first half as a generic overview? And then you wanted to mention about the switch for the second half.
Yeah, well, the first half overall, I think in a lot of these big games, when you're playing a big team and it's an important fixture in the league, you're going to see the sort of first 10, 15 minutes cagey, a few missed passes. Yeah. A few bits of nerves and things of that nature, and that seemed to be by the by. It seems to be a bit of a consistent thing this season, us being starting off a little bit slow and a little bit more conservative. Overall, I think it was a relatively even half, not much going on in it. You'd say that Liverpool would have edged it with the chances, and Mane was unlucky not to at least get the header on target, but I don't know. I wasn't too displeased with the first half.
Have we got all the dippers on tonight? Are they all on? Are they fed up of watching Anfield Agenda and the absolute meltdown? It was frightening. I was laughing my ass off last night. Yeah. And Anfield Rap and Redmen TV. It was just hilarious. So yeah, they were clowns. You're spot on, Jimmy. Go on, sorry, Kurt.
And then, as I said, I don't think it was anything to happen. I think Eddie makes a nice save from Firmino in the first half. It was an exceptional run and action from Sterling to create the penalty. I think it was a pretty even half. I'm not too as down on it as Chris. I didn't think it was that bad. I was pretty happy with the first half. There were some things I was a bit unhappy, like I said to you about the fullbacks and our wingers making sure they get back. But yeah, going into the half, I wasn't unhappy with the 0-0 at all.
Yeah, there was some. I think I said it last night on numerous occasions. You just highlighted earlier. I think, Chris, you were talking about Gundogan. I think I said it a number of times. The commentary as I'm watching, it's like, what's going on here? Because we've gone from somebody who had been absolutely amazing for us in that. In that first half, we had Gundogan giving the ball away. I mean, at one point, I think I gesticulated what he was doing. He was like so fed up with himself that he was giving another ball away and another ball and another ball. And I was thinking, oh my God, of all the nights to be doing this, you're doing it tonight. And then Phil Foden was overrunning the ball because just no support, and he was trying to, beat 3 players, and it was very frustrating that first half. And I think you said a game or 2 halves. I think it possibly was, and like you said, Kurt, there maybe away at Anfield it was a little bit nervy, but I thought we started quite brightly, and then they just gradually got into the game, and thinking, oh Jesus, they're starting to get so much success down in our fullback position. We worried at that point, Chris, before sort of half time.
I was glad we got through the first half without conceding, because I thought we were really passive. I thought we weren't particularly brave. It wasn't Pep football, I know that for sure. And maybe we did pay him a bit too much respect. But I was glad to get in at half time 0-0, and I knew Pep would get into him and sort it out.
Yeah, I think we were confident, weren't we, Kurt, at half-time, 0-0. We were saying Pep's going to make some tweaks here. He's going to tweak something because it's not right. You could see him on the sideline, and he wasn't happy, was he? And then, obviously, you mentioned at half-time, didn't you, about the fact of you'd like to see him go into that 4-4-2 when without the ball, and then we're transitioning. That's exactly what happened.
Yeah, and I just thought, obviously, I wanted it to happen, so I'm happy that it happened. But I thought it was an absolute masterstroke, because it wasn't just as simple as him just swapping into a 4-4-2 out of possession. It was the way that he allowed Raheem to start in a deeper position, Gundogan to be higher up the pitch, and Foden to actually get on the ball deeper in the pitch, all at the same time with one change without changing personnel. I know later he brought on Jesus, which also made Foden's performance even better when he went out wide towards the back end of the second half. But the change itself just made such a difference. You could see in the second half how ineffective Trent Alexander-Arnold was and Robertson was, and how the space that Gundogan got on the ball. Because when he was getting on the ball in the first half, it was like watching the old, when we used to play with Gundogan and Rodri. It felt a little bit more like that, rather than the Gundogan we've been seeing in the last month or so, right? So I felt like he moved higher up, and we were more solid. So that's why he's a genius, because it's not just as simple as just go into a 4-4-2. It's all these little details that he put in as well, that he obviously told him. Cancelo's Zinchenko's starting position was slightly about 5 or 10 yards a bit deeper as well on the left side, which gave Stones the ability to cover more on the right, which allowed Zinchenko to push higher up, which allowed Bernardo to not have to worry so much. So it was so much all in one change with not a personnel change, which is what the real tactical geniuses do. It was absolutely superb.
It was brilliant. But like I said, we went into the break 0-0, and especially after that Mane header, he should have scored. He should really have scored there. And then Firmino had a shot, which it was a decent shot. But
it was a good save.
It wasn't anything dramatic. But moving into the second half, a few tweaks happened, and straight away we had Raheem Sterling. So, Chris, what were your thoughts on Sterling for that first one, where he jinked inside the box and turned? Alexander-Arnold was afraid to tackle him, then turned inside, turned back outside, and went round the back of Fabinho, who cut his leg out like my dog having a pee in the evening, and tripped him up for the penalty. What were your thoughts on Sterling's run and the penalty itself?
I thought Raz had a decent game. He was our main attacking threat, I thought.
Yeah.
In the first 70 minutes, until Phil went out to the right. Yeah. And then Phil sort of seemed to become the main threat. But a great run from Raz. That's what we want to see, going round the players. Yeah. He looked great last night, I thought. Definite penalty. I don't know, really sure what Fabinho was doing, sticking his trailing leg out like that. I thought it was really weird. But then the penalty, and of all players, Gundogan blazes it over the bar, and it's just what it is, Andy. It's just, that's what happens. Is players miss penalties, and we're just saying with Kurt, we're actually good at penalty shootouts. So what's the issue in games? I have no idea, because we miss far too many. I think Liverpool, I read earlier, have scored their last 19 penalties.
Yeah.
You know, I know City haven't.
Yeah, well, we've not had a fantastic penalty taker since probably Yaya Toure and Balotelli, have we?
Yeah,
we probably over relied on Yaya Toure for penalties.
Yeah,
He never missed.
Yeah, I mean, it's quite frightening. I mean, I must admit, I screamed on the don't give it Raz, because I thought Raz was going to have it. And then Gundogan, I think, oh, okay, yeah, safe pair of hands here, feet. And then I must admit, and I said it last night about his run up, it seemed, and I've not had a chance to watch back his previous penalties. I'm thinking, he looks a bit odd the way he's just taken like 2 steps and gone really to one side. I'm thinking,
he normally puts it centre left, centre right. And
yeah,
very
but
unlike,
it was the way he set up. It was the way he set up for it, and I'm thinking, I'm sure he don't normally stand like that, but maybe he does. Maybe he does. Somebody might correct me, but it was that 2-step run up, and the way he was so like he was taking a free kick, and I'm thinking that's a bit of an odd position for a penalty, but he didn't. It's still travelling as it is now, because it was an awful penalty. But it was what it was, and at that point, you're probably thinking, "Here we go again. Here we go again." And then there was another incident with the John Stones, the lovely work free kick with Foden whipping that ball over the top. I mean, and like I said, I haven't watched it back. I haven't seen any lines per se. But Kurt, you were saying before you watched it back again, and you think. From
the angles I saw, it's not like we got lines on the VR.
I saw nothing.
I watched a bit on the Match of the Day 2 analysis. They showed it like as they do normally with like the pause when the ball struck, but they didn't draw any lines for us or anything like that. But he did look mildly off. But I said, it's not one without seeing it in lines and all that. It was weird that we didn't get that. That's all I thought was very strange about that.
Yeah, it's odd, isn't it? There's been a few occasions. Or this year where we've had these decisions go against us, and you're waiting for VAR or Sky and everything to give you that VAR lineage, and it just doesn't come.
I don't know if it's just them still trying to work it out, but Phil Foden winning the free kick originally was excellent play. Zinchenko with a lovely progressive ball down the left, spins off him, and he's absolutely away. Fabinho, nice tactical foul on his part. I thought it was a good tactical foul to take. Takes the yellow. Yeah, and the free kick itself was beautiful.
It didn't take long, but then on a sort of bit of a counter, we got the goal. What were your thoughts on that second goal, or the first goal for us? Make it 1-0 with Gundogan, and Raz's again similar run with a little ball inside Foden, shot to Alisson, and then obviously Gundogan in the right place to put it in the roof of the net. What were your thoughts on that, Chris?
Great run again from Raz. I thought Phil was a little unlucky with his shot. He hit it nice, but it was a good save from Alisson, and that was probably the last good thing he did all match. But unfortunately for him, it just fell straight to Gundogan, who thankfully just kept it under the bar.
I did mention it last night. A couple of his goals, it was almost like he was trying to do what he was doing with his penalty. It was like trying to get it in the roof of the net, because both goals seemed to one hit the crossbar and one went in the roof of the net. Thinking, just put it on the floor, put it on something. But what are your thoughts on that goal, Kurt?
Well, I thought it was excellent work by Foden and Sterling. They did brilliantly. Sterling especially with the action to come inside. What I thought was really great was because a lot of times when we get in that position, what we're supposed to do is have one guy make the run on the back post, one guy makes the 6-yard line run, and one guy stands for the cutback. And like you've been pointing out for a long time, Andy, no one's gambling and making that 6-yard line run. And Gundogan did that. He was on his toes. And it was a bit lucky to go in because it was almost going over. But yeah, the goal itself was brilliant work. Fantastic. I loved it.
1-0 up, you're thinking, oh, thank God for that after the missed pen. And literally, 10 minutes later or so, ball over the top, Diaz versus Salah. Chris, what was going through your mind at that point with what happened with that?
To be honest with you, I've got a lot of time for Ruben Diaz, as have we all.
Yeah.
But I think the last 2 games he's had a couple of instances where he's been a little bit casual, and I thought he was there. All he had to do was clear the ball. And maybe he does need a game off. Maybe that's what it is. I'm not doubting him. He's got so much credit in the bank. Defenders make the odd mistake. I'm not even sure it was a penalty, if I'm honest with you.
No.
Mohamed Salah is a cheat.
Yeah.
He's a cheat. And I don't care, to throw yourself to the floor like that for what little contact there was. It should have been, for me, if they want to give a penalty, it's the softest of soft penalties you can give. But he should be booked for simulation. Dirty.
Yeah, I said it last night. I mean, I think it depends on what the rules. I mean, how many times do you see a winger running down the line with a defender, and they're both like this on each other, aren't they? They're both like that. And the winger generally, if he's quicker, will go round him and carry on and whatever else. And there's nobody pulls it up for a free kick or anything like that. If somebody went to dive like Salah did, if it was outside the box and it was running down the wing, the ref would look at him going, "What's that all about? Get up, you dick."
Exactly. Whatever. You would laugh at
it. Do you want a yellow card? None of that nonsense. But it was in the box, and because he touched his arm, I said last night, how does his feet get off the floor? Is it like an electric shock? I think I said last night.
Well, it's the whole sort of
touch it, and his legs go in the air. It's like, how does that work? From a physiological point of view, how does somebody touch your arm, make your legs go in the air like that immediately? I mean, it's pathetic. It's embarrassing. And I know people will say, well, it's a touch, so he's got to try and do that because the refs won't give it and all that type of nonsense. And I do agree to a certain degree with that if refs were a little bit more. But, maybe if he turned around and stopped and went, come on, ref. Maybe if VAR looked at it and went, he did pull his shirt, he did pull it, it's a penalty. But they never do that, and that's the problem. So it leads to more cheats. And more cheats and more cheats, and Salah's right up there at the top of the tree of cheats, basically, because all he does is dive. That's all he does. It's pathetic. But I agree with you. I said it last night. It was a poor clearance from Diaz. Should have just wiped it with his left foot, trying to go with his little bit of arms here and everywhere. But Kurt made a good point. If Stones wouldn't have been covering, he might have got a red for that. But the fact that he overrun the ball, Salah, and Stones was covering, made it a yellow and a penalty. And as we know, up steps Salah, pretty cool, takes his penalty well, and it's 1-1, and you're thinking, here we go again. We missed a penalty, we score, we think that's it, and they're back in it again, and you're thinking, are they going to get a bit of confidence? But 10 minutes later, we get our second goal with Ilkay Gundogan. What were your thoughts on Alisson out to Foden, and Foden's little run and Gundogan's goal, Kurt?
Well, it was two missed passes from Alisson in the same phase of play for the build-up. What I thought was just excellent was the pressing from the team all night last night, even in the first half. Don't get me wrong, they was out of position a lot more in the first half, but the pressing was still there in the first half. Those boys were running their absolute socks off to a man for the most part last night, and that's what caused it. And it was blocking the passing lane. Foden, standing on the passing lane. So if it is a missed pass, he's going to get there first. And if it isn't a missed pass, he's going to have to take a harder pass out. He's going to have to chip it over, which is what he tried to do. And that's what led to us breaking the ball. Like I said, and I think it was so calm from Foden when he was on the ball. He didn't panic, picked the right guy. And what can you say?
Roof of the net again. Roof of the net again by Gundo. He was with it over the bar again. I'm sure he was. Maybe, I know.
I think it was more one of those smash it kind of ones rather than stuff a bit of technique on this one. I'm just going to get it in the back of the net. But no,
absolutely.
It was great. Obviously, it was an error from Alisson, but the error doesn't come if we don't press the players because he has time to make the pass. So
well, that's I think an important point, because it was maybe a minute or two before that the change was made from Mahrez to Gabby.
Yeah.
And that's what Gabby does great, is to press people.
It put
Phil out onto that right wing, and Phil just drove at them, burst through them. I can't see Mahrez doing that, if I'm honest with you. And then, I think from watching back, you said he was cold as ice or something. Yeah. The way he found Gundogan.
He was so calm. It was just because normally I just watch a lot of football in general, and even good forwards panic in the box sometimes, especially when it's from pressing that you get the ball, because it's different when you've built up the ball. You basically, your mind's already on going and making an action. But when you're pressing, half the time you're pressing, you're probably not going to get it. So getting it, being able to calm himself down and make the right decision was just class, because he's a very young kid still.
Got some pace, hasn't he, Chris? Foden.
Phil Foden, I think he's so energetic. He really is. I don't want to say it. Someone was saying earlier on, don't class him with Grealish and mounting people out. Stick him in that next echelon with the
I agree.
Mbappes and the Haalands. I think he is that good. If he carries on progressing like this, what a player!
It's frightening, isn't it? When you think, I mean, I don't know who it was who said it. I think I was listening to Noel Gallagher this morning on TalkSport, and he was talking about. Obviously, they were interviewing him about last night, and he said, "Look, you've got Phil." I think it was him. Might be wrong, but he did say if it was him, Phil Foden's 20. He's not. He's got another 3-4 years before he even starts to get anywhere near. He's moving into that category of. This is where he's now going to progress into where he's going to be a brilliant player. It's going to be another 4 years before potentially he could start reaching the start of his reaching the potential, which is around about 27, 28 years of age. I mean, it's frightening if he keeps going and stays injury free. And people have been comparing him to Gaza and everything else. Well, look what happened to Gaza. One bad tackle, and that's pretty much ruined his career. But he is looking special. That's what. But that made it 2-1. Go on, Kurt.
I was just going to say I wouldn't necessarily compare him to Gaza, because one thing back then, they were probably having pints after they won a game of football, and the recovery, fitness, and nutrition wasn't nowhere near the levels.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think they mean he was like Gaza off the pitch.
No, I just mean even on the pitch.
He does run like Gaza did with the ball.
I never watched him in his pod.
Oh yeah, well then he carries the ball like Gaza did. Gaza was able to just trick players.
Foden's got so many qualities of so many different players I see from different.
Oh yeah.
So, he's been around them, hasn't he? Yeah. He's been around the David Silvas and the Kevin De Bruynes and the Sergio Aguero's. He's been around quality for his whole growing up.
And that's why I've always said all along, I know we joked about, on the channel about Foden going on loan and things like that, but I've always said about it, trust in Pep. Pep sees what he does day in, day out on the training pitch, and he's got these world-class players that he's learning from. When Pep thought he was ready, he'll be ready. And even, it was great interview after the game last night, but it was great to see Pep saying, still he's got a lot to learn in certain positions. He's frustrating, and he's not doing what we've asked him to do in that particular point of the game, and he's basically keeping his feet on the ground, didn't he? But that was 2-1, and we're thinking, come on, one more. Well, 3 minutes later, it came, and that was another mistake by Alisson. But what a brilliant bit of play by Bernardo Silva, and then to the man, Raheem Sterling. Kurt, I think you were saying words like "it's disgusting" last night, wasn't it?
It was a disgusting.
It should be after the watershed, I think you said.
Because it's just the cheek. Yeah, I did, and it was the cheek of it. It's just because from there, it's kind of what you expect him to do. You expect him to do it 3 or 4 touches earlier if he's going to do that. It's how close he got to the goalie, because he knows the goalie can't stand up, because if he stands up, he's going to meg him. So he knows, and it's like a game of chicken. Is the goalie going to go down, or is he going to keep standing up? And he played that game and just, put him on ice. It was, and Sterling back post where he needed to be, perfect positioning, made the run off as soon as he saw Bernardo coming inside. It was.
It was great, and I was just pleased for Sterling getting on the end of it. I said it last night, and we had a bit of was it a cross or not? I still think he was probably trying to chip Alisson.
When I look back, mate, he looked like he was trying to chip. At the time, I was like, no, it was definitely a cross. But then on further review, I think.
I think it was. At the end of the day, Raz could have been stood on the edge of the box thinking, oh, he's chipped him, and oh shit, it's gone wide, because it wasn't going in, it was going wide. But Raz Campbell again got the goal, 3-1 up, and then by that point you're thinking that is game over. And it's really, well, maybe you're not thinking it's game over, but you're thinking surely we're going to go on to win this. And then if you saw the match watch along last night, I mean, it just came out the blue. It came totally out the blue without, I think I said he cut inside in one motion and shot it, made a shot. And it sort of stunned me. When I was putting that edit together today and I was watching it back, it was like, I went, because I wasn't sure. I thought, well, what's just happened there? It hit the back of the net so fast that it was like, oh my God. I mean, Phil Foden's goal, Chris.
Wow. What a player. And, you know, he is the one player we all want to see do well. You know, he's got the fans right behind him. And so it's great to see him score a goal like that. And I think this season we are seeing a more mature performer, whether that's from a consistency, because he's getting more consistency in performing, you know, playing more games. I imagine there's some of that. I think I've been frustrated in the past that he hasn't played more, but, you know, you got to trust in Pep. You have to trust in Pep.
Yeah.
But yeah, I thought it was a stunning goal, mate. I thought the speed, I thought the balletic poise as he sort of moved, shifted his body, and then with a thunderous strike straight after that. You know, it was just too much for Alisson. It was too, like you say, it was past him before he'd even know he'd hit it. He hit it that bloody hard. So fantastic. What a, you know, nice way to put the icing on the top, really.
It was. What were your thoughts on that strike, Kurt?
Well, like you said on the watch along, it sort of came out of nowhere, and I'm not used to watching football with a headset on, so I was very happy I didn't rip my old computer off, to be honest with you. And the strike itself, like Chris mentioned, it's the ability to get it out of his shoot and get out of his foot and shoot almost in the same action. Him doing it so quickly, the strike was so pure and so hard. Like a lot of people were saying, "Oh, Alisson could have done a bit better." On the punditry I saw and a few bits and off, but I disagree completely. I said on the watch when you don't stop those. If you hit it that hard from that close a range, you know, because anyone who's played in goal know it's easier to save goals with your hands on the side than above your head. It just is, especially when it's going in, because the movement from there is just shorter movement. So yeah, it was.
He would have had to have hit him, wouldn't it?
Yeah, it would have been one of those in the face jobbies if he would have saved it. But, yeah, like you said, Andy, it was just the icing on the cake. So
that's brilliant.
And he's one of the main men this season. Him and Raz and Cancelo have been carrying the burden a lot this season, you know, and credit to him.
Yeah, Andy Mills says Foden's confidence and composure is off the scale at his age. It's just frightening. That flashed by before my eyes, says Dupe. Andy Blue Moon says Foden does that quick movement to his other foot, shoots for the fourth, but did it earlier for a Gundo goal as Alisson saved it. Robertson taken off after Foden toasted him. I think it was mentioned in the report I was looking at today. I don't know who it was who was saying. I think was it Martin Samuel? I can't remember. But basically, he was saying roasted. At one point in his report, he's roasting Trent Alexander-Arnold, and then in the next couple of paragraphs, and he's roasting Andy Robertson. And I'm thinking, shit, he's roasting everybody. It doesn't matter which side he's on; he's absolutely destroying them. Harry Jones has put, Phyllis, Big Blue Rabbit, do you not have anything better to do than chat shit in a rival's fan channel, you salty knob? I think Harry Jones, I'm not sure you really understand who Ivor is, mate. He's a massive, massive blue. He's a massive City fan, mate.
And the biggest piss taker you'll ever speak to.
He's clearly winding you up, Harry Jones. He's a massive blue. You only have to, we chat to him most games.
You've got to watch out for in the chat. They'll troll you if you let them, mate.
Yeah, he's just winding you up, mate, and you're probably falling for it. You felt bad for Robertson, really, with the laugh.
I don't. He's a dirty bugger, mate. I don't like either of them. Trent Alexander's a dirty bugger as well. Don't like either of them.
Albie Michael says our under 23s are on top as well. Oh yeah, Ivor says I've got Harry on a hook. Told you, mate. Don't fall for it, but clearly you have. Brilliant. Full-time whistle. There was that incident with Trent Alexander talking about him and Ederson. And he's just thinking, oh, you're a fool if you think you're going to dick about with Ederson, mate. Just walk away. Yes, wonderful, wonderful result. It really was a brilliant game. what we're going to do next is we're going to do the play ratings, and you guys can all join in as well. This should be interesting because, like I think Chris said, that first half, you'd be struggling to give anybody more than a 6, possibly even 5s to 6s, or some even less than that. But then the second half, it was like chalk and cheese, wasn't it? So let's start off with Edison. Didn't think he had a great deal to do, but what he done, I thought he did really well. So I'm gonna ask for everybody to make your comments on Edison. Remember, we normally start on the channel. We start as a 6 as an average game, nothing great, nothing bad, and then if they do anything special, they get an extra point or 2. But we'll start off with Edison. Go to you, Chris. What were your thoughts?
Well, surprisingly, Andy, he didn't really have a lot to do, did he?
Not really.
He had quite a game. He made that save from Firmino.
I think he came out well. He came out a number of times well, punched.
Yeah, he did. Yeah,
I think he did that. But then, as Roy Keane would say, well, isn't that what a goalkeeper's job is? Yeah. That's what they're supposed to do.
Oh, hang on. Oh, Martin's just said he should have done better with the pen.
Is that what he said?
Yeah, give him a slap, man. That was a great penalty.
It was a great penalty, yeah. So what are you going to give him?
I'm going to give him a 7.5.
Okay, a 7.5. Okay, Kurt.
Mum's a flat 7. Made the save he made on Firmino. Like I said, it's a decent save. Should be making those. I agree with you, Andy. He came out quite well for the crosses and that. There was a shot on Jones, that Stones block that was just wide. I think he had it covered anyway. Yeah, solid 7. Like I said, he didn't really have all that much to do. As fans, we always feel like they had more to do than when you watch it back the second time and you realise. But yeah, 7 for me.
Okay, well, Kamal Dwyer gives him 8. Leonard gives him a 7.5. Pardo Oaks gives him a 7. Sean gives him an 8. Soab gives him, excuse me, an 8. Did pretty decent. Scott says, Eddie 7, in fairness, didn't have much to do, but steady as always with his new general in front of him. The original general scored for Benfica tonight. Sorry, big jump there. Everyone's wanting to get their scores on. Sorry, let me go through these quick. Scott him all an 8. Dupe a 7.5. Albie gives him an 8. Andy Blue Moon gives him a 7. SOS gives him an 8. Andy Miles, Miles, 9. I've said thought Stones. Oh, we're not on Stones yet, mate. Nobody gets more than 5 for the first half. Eddie, give him. We're talking about overall. We're not doing first half, second half. Eddie gives him a 10. Well, yeah, he's back to his 10s.
It's happy.
Yeah, it is. 7.5 from Simon. Ivor gives Eddie a 7. Oh my God, I almost forgot my ones. Ones?
Point ones.
Oh, point ones. Yeah, you did. 7, nowhere near the pen. It's a good pen. Jamie Short, 7. BHE gives him a 7. Neil gives him a 7.5. Kex gives him a 7. Anyone else with scores? Peter Curry gives him a 7. Andy Mills says, a couple of great catches from crosses, an 8. Callum gives him a 7. Douglas giving him a 7.5 to an 8. But you're really hedging your bets there, mate. Gives him a 7. Cameron says Eddie an 8. Adam Quinn gives him a 7. Jay Fresh gives him a 7. God, we've got loads of scores on tonight. Tyrone gives him an 8. Sorry. There you go. Let me just quickly see what as we normally do. Simon Pachowski, Edison, alarm bell early on when he sprayed the ball straight to Mane, but solid enough that afterwards could do nothing with the penalty. So I think overall, I'm going to go with Chris on this one because there's a few 8s in there. So I would have given him a 7, but Edison gets a 7.5 for last night's performance. Right, on to who played a little bit more as a natural right back last night, and that is Cancelo. So what were your thoughts, Chris, on Cancelo last night?
Yeah, quite a game from Cancelo yesterday. I think Zinke was the one who was pushing further up in the second half. I think he struggled in the first half, Cancelo, but he didn't have any help from Mahrez whatsoever.
No.
So, yeah, I think it was a tough game for him, but he did some good clearances. I thought he did okay. I was certainly, I say he didn't get, Mane didn't rip him a new one. I think he did okay. I'd probably give him a 7.
Kurt?
I'm a little bit harsher on his performance than Chris. I thought that he was playing deeper in the first half, and Bernardo was giving him a lot of help all game on that side. I don't think he particularly did anything with what he's normally put in the team to do. But like Chris said, he did do his defensive work quite diligently. Mane got off him for the header that he missed in the first half. I'm going to give him a 6, mate.
Okay, so that's a 7 and a 6. Leonard says 7. Miles says a 7. BHE gives him an 8. Neil 7.5, pretty good. Scott 7. Sorry, Tom, but was totally wrong side for Mane's header. Needs to improve on that part of his game. Well, we did say, didn't we? I mean, I keep saying it. He's not a natural defender, and he has been playing in this different role. But last night, to be fair, he did. I thought he did all right. Adam Quinn gives him an 8. Dupay an 8.1. Peter Corey gives him a 7. Kamal gives him a 7.5. Pardo Oaks gives him a 7. Jamie Short gives him a 7.5. Simon gives him a 7. Ray gives him a 7.5. Sean gives him a 7.5. So does Stephen Dempster. Ketz gives him a 7. Cameron, 7.5. Kept Marnie fairly quiet. Mark gives him a 7.5. Lots of 7.5s here. Looks like that's going to be the score. SOS gives him the same. Andy Mills says Cancelo fairly quiet, a 7. Tyrone gives him an 8, though. Ivor says Cancelo in and out the game, a 6. So he agrees with you, Kurt. Dudley, a 7.5. Zoab, a 7.5. Jack Lee, a 7. Callum J 17, you're new, welcome, mate, gives him a 6. Scotty Moll gives him a 7.5. Make your mind up, Callum, 6 or 6.5. You can only have one or the other. So that's 2 scores. Joel 7.5. Jay Fresh 7. He was okay. CM City gives him a 7. Simon Bajowski says unable to get forward as often as he would like, as City struggling in the middle, won some important defensive duels, but also lost a few. He should have come out on top of basically. So he gave him a 6. But it's about your scores and the average, and I'm going to go a 7.5 for Cancelo, because it's your scores, not ours, that dictates what the scores are on Man City Fan TV. So Kurt agreeing with Simon Bajowski with a 6. Basically, everyone agreeing with Chris with a 7.5. So Cancelo gets a 7.5. Let's go to the opposite side. Last night's game, and that was Alexander Zinchenko played on the opposite side. So, Chris, what were your thoughts on Zinky last night?
A bit like Cancelo in the first half. I think he had a bit of a struggle. It wasn't his fault though. Didn't get much help, if I'm honest. When things changed in the second half, I thought he was fantastic. I thought he played a really good game, and this is so. I would have given him probably a 5.5 for the first half, and probably an 8.5. So I'll probably give him lad an 8. I think I'm going to give him an 8 because I think he deserves it. He's done really well. For me, he's our first choice left back by a considerable margin at the minute.
You probably hit the nail on the head there, Chris. He probably is, and that's we're talking about we could play Laporte there. We've got Mendy who's back, and we've got Ake. And at the moment, you're struggling for Laporte or Mendy to come in because he's not really doing anything wrong. And that first half, you said there, first half you could have given him a 5. We said that we'd probably give everybody a 5 or a 6 in the first half. Nobody really shone, did they? So, but I agree with you. I thought he was superb in the second half. Kurt?
I love Zinchenko. Always have done, always will do. Anyone who shows that much passion for the club, I love them, even if they're pony, But last night, I thought it was fantastic. Like Chris said, he got no help in the first half, honestly. Well, the back end of the first half, I will give credit. He did get a bit of help, but I thought it was fantastic. I think it's been fantastic for a very long time. Given that the first half and the second half differentials, my scores might be a bit lower than some of the other guys tonight, but I gave him an 8.
Chris, do me a favour. We won't call him that name. We'll call him, what does Marvin think? What does Marvin think for Marvin?
I'll get him in.
Come on, Marvin. What's Marvin think?
He's what? Sell him.
Sell him. Is that sell him? I thought.
Absolutely.
Is he on his list?
Yeah, he's on his list. He's on the list. He's on the list. He's a fool.
Miles gives Zinky a 9. Hello, Jink Cartler. How are you? Leonard gives him an 8. Charlie gives him a 7. Adam Quinn a 7. Cameron says 9 for me. Oh, massive jump. Wow. I'm going to have to fly through these ones. Kamal gives Zinky an 8. BHE gives him a 9. Sean gives him a 7. Jamie gives him a 9. Simon gives him a 7.5. Andy Mills says solid performance 7. We'll see him quite poor in the first half. Yeah, we just said that, but it's an overall score, isn't it? Dukes gives him as 9.1. He was class. Defending's getting a lot better. Neil says 8.5. Very impressive against Salah. 7.5 from Peter Curry. Mark Armstrong gives him an 8. SOS gives him an 8. Also, Stephen Dempster gives him a 7.5. Alec Johnson gives him a 9. Ray Fernley an 8. Ivor says Zinny. I was not impressed in the first half, but he was exposed. Second, the better. Gives him an 8. Scott says an 8. Start take ownership of the left back role. Love Diaz pulling him around whilst he was the drafted. He might be a big character in the dressing room. Interesting, good point. Huh? Scotty Mark gives him an 8. Fantastic. His quick passing is underrated. Ketz gives him a 9. Dudley gives him an 8. Pardo Wilkes gives him a 7.5. Anyone else? Callum says first half was about 5.5, but got an 8. Second overall 7.5. Stevie Raxall's on. How are you, mate? Gives him an 8. Jack Lee gives him an 8. Tyrone gives him a 9. Always solid in big games. Oliver's Army gives him a 9. Somebody says well said, Kurt. There, sorry, I'll have to go wherever. I've lost that one now. There was another bloody big jump. 1 minute. Let me find it. Here it was. Well said, Kurt. There you go. And just think Pep wants us to improve. Good point. Right. No more on there. So Zinky, let's just see what Simon Pajowski said. He did say probably just about justified his start ahead of Laporte, even if Salah gave him some uncomfortable moments. He was a significant part in City's left being the attacking flank they had the most. Joy down and gave him a 6.
What?
That was a bit harsh.
Did he not read his own paragraph? Did he not reread it? That makes no sense.
I think it's very harsh. But anyway, it's not about Simon Pajowski. It's about yours. So Stinky from you lot gets an 8. So that moves us on to the Barnsley Beckenbauer, and that is John Stones. So John Stones, what were your thoughts, Chris, on Johnny Stones last night?
Solid, absolutely. For me, he's one of my contenders for the man of the match. Still haven't decided who I'm going to pick for the man of the match.
Yeah.
He is one of 3. I thought he was immense. He had that goal that was chalked off, but for me, he's just everywhere you wanted him, and he did everything as you would want him to do. He made the right decisions all the time. I thought he was excellent. Excellent. I give him an 8.5. I thought he was brilliant last night.
An 8.5 for Chris. What about you, Kurt?
I'm in the exact same boat as Chris. I gave him an 8.5. I just want to say he didn't lose a single aerial duel that game. And Liverpool's one of their biggest strengths is whipping balls into the box, and him and Diaz, him especially, every single one, fantastic. What a guy.
Okay, so an 8.5 for Chris and Kurt. So does Kamal. He gives an 8.5. Miles is good. Hey, Miles, be careful, mate. You're not dupes. Only dupes can give the anything outside of a 0.5 or 0. So we'll say that's a 9 and let you off on that one. Leonard, 8.5. Pardo Oaks, 8.5. So does Simon. Peter Curry gives him an 8. 7 for BHE. Quiet, but did everything he needed to. Scott Williams says 8. Great performance again. CM6 says 9. Brilliant. So does Jamie Shaw. He thinks he's a 9 as well. Dupe says 9.1. His defending was just great. He made a wonderful block on Curtis Jones. He did. I didn't watch it back again, but I don't know whether that was creeping in the corner and whether Edison would have got there. But
Edison had it covered, but it was still,
did it? It was still important.
He ain't going to know that.
No. 8.5 from Adam Quinn. Andy Mills says Stones solid 8. Jay Fresh says 9. Best out the back 4. Zoab thinks it's an 8 as well. Let me go up. Come on. Get back up. SOS says 8.5. Neil Stones 9. Didn't do anything wrong. Sean Fogarty gives him an 8.5. Immense says Tyrone. He gives him a 9. Duke says his heading was on fire. BHE says John Stones' decision making has improved massively. As Dudley gives him an 8.5. Ray gives him a 8.5 there. Callum says was our best defender, had all of Liverpool votes in his pockets, 8.5. Stephen Dempster, 8.5, the highest score I've ever given him. Kex gives him a 9. Top Blue, Oliver's Army gives him an 8. Ivor says Stones was the only 7 in the first half, gets a 9 from me. Wow. Big scores from Ivor there. 9. If one centre-back has a dodgy game, the other steps up, and he did. Very, very good point, that. Because we are going to move on to Diaz. 8.5 from for Stones from Alec. Jack Lee says 9. John Wick, here we go. Plastic Club, only 85 watching. There you go. Just do us a favour, post your YouTube channel below, and we'll all go over and have a watch at the thousands that are watching your channel, mate. Anyway, but thanks for commenting and the laughs, and there you go. Chris, get your chainsaw out, mate.
I've done it, mate. As always, like a chainsaw.
On cue, mate. On cue.
There you go. Nice little bit of timber fall in there. We like that. 8.5, just a new normal John Stones performance, and didn't draw too much attention to himself. And when he got home, he took Firmino out of his back pocket. Right. What does Simon Bajowski says? He said exactly where he needed to be all the time. Confident making blocks in his own area. Confident stepping up into intercept, and confident stepping out to move the ball into midfield. Almost another winner in a big game. Gave him an 8. So I'm gonna give him a little bit more. I'm gonna give him a solid from you guys, because there's quite a few 9s in there. So I'm gonna give John Stones an 8.5. I thought he had a great game last night. Very, like Kurt said, almost foot perfect. Which moves us on to his partner, who has got an awful lot of man of the match performances on Man City Fan TV from the pundits, and that was Ruben Diaz. Now, we do know he made a mistake, but he had made a couple of dodgy passes, but overall still extremely solid compared to what we've had in the past. Chris, Ruben Diaz.
Yeah. I think I would have given him something like a 7.5. I'm going to take half a mark off him for that ridiculousness with Salah. I still don't think it was a penalty, but he still should have got rid of the ball. So I'll give him a 7. Not his best game, but he wasn't weak by any stretch of the imagination.
Oh, no, not at all. Kurt?
I'm very much in the same boat as Chris. It was basically a 7.5, but that error was what he's done well since he's come in is sometimes he goes no nonsense, I'm booting it out. Does it, and then for some reason he decided he wanted to use his right foot. It was very odd, but yeah, like Chris said, a couple sloppy passes. He was great in the air though. He won almost all his headers. Yeah. I don't know. I'll go him a 7. I'll go for same with Chris as a 7. I think it's very fair. Yeah.
Oh well, Dukes is agreeing with you. He says 7.1 rating down because of the pen given. Miles gives him an 8. Leonard 7. Kamal Diaz 8, still solid. BHE 6.5, a little bit casual. It was, it's not the first time we have said it. He has made a few casual things, but I mean, we are talking minuscule. Very, very critical about him making the odd mistake because he's been so solid. 6.5 from Pardo. He's become casual recent in his defending, which is concerning. Maybe a little bit of tiredness. Maybe he's literally nearly played every game. Scott 7, agree with Chris, said earlier, touch casual, but no complaints to rest him on Wednesday. Yeah, that's probably the rest is incoming. Diaz 8.8, no, so you're not. Chris is warming his chainsaw up, mate. 8.8, we don't do 8.8s, 8.5 or 8 or 9. Diaz 7.5, first real mistakes in Johnny City, but otherwise still very good. Peter Curry gives him a 7. Simon gives him a 7. Sean gives him a 9.5. Wow. Somebody said Diaz fan. Diaz 8 from the Dalesman. CM City 6.5. Second worst performance in a City shirt. Harsh. 7, his worst game in a blue shirt. That's some record he's got then. If last night was poor, or, that shows you the levels he's been at. Yeah, absolutely. Diaz 8.5 because it wasn't a penalty. There you go. Good.
Harry Maguire dreamed for a 7, wasn't he?
Absolutely. Yeah, Ray firmly says Diaz an 8. Jay Fresh says 7 for Ruben. He was still good. Diaz, not quite as great, but a 7. Tyrone gives him 7 as well. Oliver Zarmi gives him an 8. Jack Lee, 8. Don't blame him for the penalty. Not his fault. That's the diving Salah. Yeah, well, that's very true, Jack. 7 would have been an 8 if it wasn't for the mistake. Jamie Short gives him an 8. Anyone else with a score? Dudley gives him an 8. Scotty Mel, 7. Few dodgy passes, silly pen, but loads of credit, like Chris said. Absolutely. Callum gives him a solid 8. Ivor says, Diaz, you raise those arms and you give the ref a chance to give a pen, and a cheat to dive, 7 for me. Yeah, spot on. We said that at the beginning. You know, you could possibly say if you touch somebody, you're going to get, especially if it's against someone like Salah, who's the worst cheat in probably world football at this moment in time. You know,
I don't know. Neymar's got to be up there with him, hasn't he?
Yeah, maybe. No, I'm still having Salah. Sorry. There's a bigger compilation of Neymar, Salah dives than there are of Neymar. Diaz 8, made a mistake, but unlikely. Alisson, he recovered himself well. Katutu Etu. Welcome to the channel. Diaz a 7. Anyone else? Shedders gives him Diaz a 7. Shedders gives him an 8. So there you go. Simon Bajowski for Ruben Diaz. He says the left side of the defence was targeted early on, and Diaz's lack of left foot did not help. Made some useful clearances, but a rare error popped up at the worst moment. Even if Salah made the most of the contacts in the box, gave him a 6. That's pretty harsh for me, but I'm going to go with you guys. I'm going to go with 7. Gets a point knocked off, and looking at what everyone else is 7.5s and things like that, he gets a 7 because he would have got an 8 for me apart from that mistake. But right, moving on to the Shat-Addo, as I called him last night. Chris, you will remember the episode of Only Fools and Horses in the supermarket manager's office.
Yes, the Shat-Addo. Yes.
They seek him here. They seek him there. They seek him everywhere. The Shat-Addo, and that is Rodri, who I thought was quietly impressive. I think Kurt called him last night, and I totally agree with him. What about Rodri last night, Chris?
Yeah, that was a great description. He did a lot of sort of like what Ferner would do. You know, the things that go missed by a lot of people. He did them really well. He got some lovely passes as well forward. I thought he had a great game. I thought he was great in the first half. I thought he was great in the second half. I'm going to give him an 8. It could be an 8.5. I'd be happy to give him that as well if he gets as high as that. I thought he was really good yesterday. And that's 2 matches running now.
Yeah.
He's really impressed me.
Very impressive. I mean, 2 matches running where he's been very impressive.
Yeah. I'm not talking about good games.
Not just he's had a good game, but impressive game, which is it bodes well. It really does. I really thought maybe Ferner might have been brought in with Rodri last. We did, didn't we? I think we all 3 did. I think we did, didn't we? Kurt, Rodri, quietly impressive.
Yeah, I said in the build-up when we were doing the lineups before the game, it's a big vote of confidence to Rodri to know that he's in there on his own. Because, like I said, normally he gets Ferner or someone put alongside him in the bigger games. Yeah, and he probably took that and said, "You know what? The manager's got faith in me. I'm about this. This is me." I thought he was our best player in the first half. I thought he was absolutely excellent, not a foot wrong. Like, don't get me wrong. There's always improvements to be made, but I thought he was a sterling job tonight. I gave him an 8.5. I thought he was fantastic.
So what did you give him, Chris? Did you go for 8 or 8.5?
I gave him an 8, but I would be happy for an 8.5 as well. I thought he had a really good game. Okay,
so you've gone 8. You've gone 8.5. Let's see what everyone else thinks. Kamal gives him an 8.5 and says brilliant. BHE says 7.5. Some good interceptions and transition does well. Miles gives him a 9. Scott Williams says an 8.5. Rock solid game, allowing either Stones or Diaz the confidence to drive forward when they want. Impressive form at the moment. Over to you, Scotty Mob. Sean Fogarty an 8. Jamie Short 10. Best performance in a City shirt. Wow, it's high praise. Sorry, another massive jump because we get that. Ray says 8. Tom Betts gives him a 9.5. Rodri exceptional. Peter Curry an 8.5. CM 8, brilliant. Simon gives him an 8.5. Leonard 9, man of the match, done the dodgy work. Certainly did. Dupe 10.1. He was definitely contender for the man of the match. He's defending and his passing was just great. Worked hard. And Zoab gives Rodri a 7. Tyrone also agrees with Dupe. Was my man of the match 10. Absolutely superb. There you go. High praise for Rodri. Mark Armstrong 7.5. Andy Milnes gives Rodri an 8. Cameron gives 8.5. Was his best performance in a City shirt. Jack Lee says 8. Solid passing was great. SOS says 8 and effective. Neil says 9. Oh, 8.5. Does everything well. Callum says didn't really notice him much, but was a great off the ball 7.5, which is pretty much what we were talking about last night. He just quietly went about his business. Decent fools and horses reference that. Jay Fresh 8.5. Rodri was class. Anyone else? Capado Oaks 8.5. Really improved all his aspects of his game. Oliver's Army gives him an 8 for Rodgers. Ivor says Rodri got on with the job, nothing flashy, and kept the bricklayers ticking over with the cement. Nah, like it, mate. Nah, like it. I like it. Very good analogy. Yeah, 9. Shedder's 8.5. Quietly and effectively goes about his business. Dudley Lewis gives him an 8. 7.5 from Stephen Dempster. Scotty Moll, 8. Great game. Getting better. I can't be more positive than that for Rodri. Thomas Castlin says 8. Cancelo coming inside has allowed him to shine much quicker on the ball yesterday and lots of forward passes. Alec Johnson, 7.5. Carl Buxton's on. How are you, mate? 8 for Rodri, 10 for Allison. Right, Rodri, we're going to give him a score, and it's going to be a good one. But let's see what Simon Pachowski said. He said, another effective performance, showing why Fernandinho is usually on the bench. He was quicker and calmer than most of his teammates in the early stages and played some lovely balls forward and gave him a 7. It's probably good for Simon Pachowski, but I am I'm going to give him a very, very, very solid. I don't know, go 8 or 8.5. What do I go? Looking at the scores, I'm going to go 8.5 because there's quite a few 9s in there. I'm at 10, so I won't give it a 10. But I'll give him an 8.5 on an average of your scores. So there you go. Rodri gets an 8.5, which leaves us on to somebody who yesterday is just a bloody Duracell. It's like the Duracell bunny, isn't it? He just runs and runs and runs, and it's so good to see him finally back in form again because he seems such a lovely guy, and that is Bernardo Silva. So, Chris, what are your thoughts on Bernardo?
Like I say, everywhere, busy as, really, really worked hard, but you know that's the least you expect from Bernardo. Lovely assist as well. I'm going to give him a 7.5. That might be a little bit harsh. But I didn't think he produced much quality up front. But,
7. No, it's harsh. It's harsh. 7.5. Come on. No,
I thought he had a good game. I really did.
Yeah.
And he, like you say, it's nice to see him back.
Yeah.
Giving consistent, high quality performances.
Yeah.
He's a class player and a class lad as well. So really pleased to see him back like this. Definitely,
it's good because he has over the last year. I mean, he's had like one where you've gone, oh, he's had a good game today, and then the next game it's like, and then the next game it's like, and then he's a bit better. He's back to that. It's just nice to see him getting in he's playing consistently well, and when he plays well, he pulls off some match-winning performances, and I think that's what we want. Kurt?
Yeah, we always see a more influential Bernardo when Kevin's out of the team. I thought the defensive worked great yesterday, not just the running, like the actual ability to defend, because anyone at the athletic level can run, but he was putting in some great tackles, great assists. Like Chris, going forward, I didn't think he was doing too much, but like I said, he was an absolute unit everywhere we needed him on the pitch. He was. I think he carried the ball really well. He dropped deep quite a bit to receive the ball. I'm really torn between a 7.5 and an 8. So I think I'm going to go with the 7.5 to be honest, because the assist was fantastic and the work rate was great. But outside of that, he didn't do too much going forward. But I don't think that was necessarily his role.
Fair enough. 2 7.5 then from Chris and Kurt, both agreeing with each other. Alec gives him an 8. Kamal gives him Bernardo an 8.5. Leonard gives him an 8.5. Shedders 9. My man of the match. Wow. Pado Oaks gives him an 8. Jamie Short gives him an 8.5. Simon the same. CM City says 8. Works his socks off. Dudley Lewis gives him a 9. We have to, as usual, As soon as we pause, then the massive big jump comes in. Here we go. Thomas, 8.5. 9 from Neil. Alec gives him an 8.5. BHE gives him an 8.5. So does Peter Curry. Ray Fernley gives him a 9. So I'm back to an 8.5. Dupes gives him an 8.1. Mark Armstrong, 8. Industrial. And I think 8 for SOS. Andy Mills there. Andy Mills gives Love Burning of Late Energy is back 8. Lee 8.5. Callum gives him an 8.5 as well. Scott, Bubblegum, a solid 8, getting back in the groove, and the chip for the third was composed in class. Tyrone gives him a 9. He was everywhere. Could see why anyone chose him for man of match. I would love to see his running stats. Bernardo, solid 8, makes me smile every time I watch him. His class. Stephen Debster, 8.5. Leonard, 7.5 is a bit harsh. Chris, King of Assist, 8. Cameron gives him an 8. With a big jump. Hi, King of Assist, how are you? Scotty Mel gives him a 7.5. Tin Hat only frustrates the hell out of me. Gives the ball away and runs down blind. Alice sick of the runs, a lot of tag. I want more quality like the Dink. Okay.
That's a fair point.
Matthew Walcott, I give him every on a 10 with destroyed Liverpool. Come on, City. Nicholas Phillips gives him an 8.
Brilliant.
No one does halves in pubs except women. I love it. Oliver's Army gives him.
He doesn't know the women I know then. I bet her next door to drink halves either.
Tickled me that. I can't even write now because I'm nearly crying. It's going all up the place here. I'm losing it. Bernardo Silva. What does he say? Bajowski says a quieter afternoon than he would have liked, but was alive when it mattered to scoop the ball over Alisson Sterling to nod in and gave him a 7. I'm going to give him an 8, solid 8. Bernardo Silva, looking at your scores there, which leads us on to somebody who I thought had a very poor first half, but wow, what a second half. And he's been absolutely brilliant of late, and that is Silky Ilky. Chris?
Yeah, mixed bag, wasn't it? Totally, you really struggled in the first half. One of the worst penalties you'll ever see. And then second half, back to normal service. Scored 2 goals at Anfield, brilliant. Feeling generous, so I'm going to give him an 8.
An 8 then, Kurt?
When I wrote my scores down earlier, I did an 8.5. But as we've been talking about the game and stuff, the first half was really not great. So I'm going to drop it down to an 8. But that second half was unbelievable.
And I think he was probably one of our worst performers in the first half.
Yeah, but that's why I was saying, as we were talking. Yeah. I don't think I could justify an 8.5 based off one half of football.
Yeah, even though we got 2 goals.
That's not to take away from his second half performance.
No, God no.
It was fantastic. But like I said, the tactical change in the second half allowed him to do that. So yeah, I think an 8 overall for him.
Okay.
The box these days.
Ray gets an 8. Leonard gives him an 8.5. Paddo Oaks gives him an 8.5. He's just unbelievable. He reckons at the minute. King of Assists at 9.5. Dukes gives him a 9.1. Alec gives him a 9. BHE gives him a 9. Says game changer. Scott Williams 7.5. Worthy of recent praise, but you have to hit the target from the spot. Simple as. Good point. Simon an 8. 8. 2 beautiful goals. Should have had a hat trick. Dudley Lewis 9. CM says 8. If he scored the pen, a 9. Thomas 4 for the first half. 9 for the second. Overall an 8. Peter Curry an 8. Jamie Short at 9. Sit down, Fernandez. I think he's talking about Bruno there. Lots on over here in Barbados. You guys need to visit and try our Banks beers. It's Barbados. Many a time, mate. Yeah, beautiful island. Mr. Whippy an 8.5. Overall, 8.5 from Mark. Ivor Gundo. Yes, he missed the pen, but wow, he knows how to move into space. gives him an 8. Scott him all 8. Did well to compose himself, showed some class. Cameron gives him a 9. Chased every ball. Thiago, we talking about Thiago there. Sorry, another jump. Jack Lee, 8.5, 2 goals, but missed the pen. Oliver's Army gives him an 8.5. Callum says, definitely my man of the match, apart from the pen. He was everywhere yesterday, arguably best performance in blue shirt, 9.5. If it weren't for the pen miss, it would have been a 10. Shedders, 8. Poor first half was anonymous, but made up for it in the second. Neil gives him an 8.5, would have been a 9. If he hadn't launched that new satellite. Cameron gives Gundo a 7 for the missing of the penalty. Andy Mills says Gundo clattered early on, which affected him great second half. SOS gives him an 8.5. Nicholas Phillips gives him a 9. Anyone else? Carl Buxton gives Gundogan an 8. And we've got Butchers 4 here. Gundogan an 8.5. So Simon Bajowski for Gundogan said a horrible penalty miss was followed up by not 1 but 2 goals. His courage and character won the day and the game for City, even if it wasn't his best performance, and gave him a 7. Ilkey. I'm going to give Silky an 8, just a solid 8. Because
Andy, you know what? We haven't missed KDB because of Gundogan.
No, that's very true.
He's proper stood up and been, to be counted. Brilliant, absolutely brilliant for him.
Yes, right. Let's move over to somebody who, out of everyone where you've gone, they all had an average first half, but all of them were brilliant in the second half. For me, except for this one player, I thought he was terrible yesterday. I'm not having a go. I gave him loads of credence in the previous vlogs. I thought he was crap. I thought it was crap yesterday, if I'm being honest. But that was Riyad Mahrez. I thought it was really poor. No, I shouldn't say crap. He was poor. I thought it was non-existent. But Chris?
I don't know if I should say anything, Andy.
Well, no. You say it, mate.
I'm with you. I thought he was bobbins yesterday. Just doesn't work hard enough. Doesn't produce enough. He's £60 million player. He produces hardly anything for that money. And I know he doesn't choose the price tag, but we look much better without him on the field, which is normal.
Yeah. I mean, I've said it a few times on the vlog. So here comes Mahrez, and he's beat. He's not beat a player. He's beat himself again, and he seems to beat himself. And I just thought it was poor yesterday. I don't think he offered very much going back when we really needed it. And I'm not having a go at Mahrez. I'm really not, because I thought everyone was a 5 or a 6 in the first half, but everyone stepped up to an 8 and 9 performance in the second half. He just was a solid. I'm not sure what score to give him, but he was a solid for me. Rubbish all the way across. Kurt?
Well, I said in the watch along in the first half, I thought he was actually one of our more fruitful attacking players. Not that it ended up in like attempts or whatever, but that switch from the left side from into Mahrez was on almost every time.
He did say that.
And the 2 times that he took it, one time he basically just ran into the defender, and the other time he put an absolutely special ball through, and nothing came of it, But yeah, his running in the first half was poor. I thought his running in the second half wasn't too bad until he got pulled off, but in comparison to his first half. But yeah,
he probably needed to be pulled off. If I'm being honest,
I'd give him a 6. It wasn't Morris's finest day on a football field, but was great, and he didn't get long in the second half. But yeah, he was the one to take off. That was the right decision from Pep.
So, Chris, what's your score?
4.5.
4.5. Kurt?
I just said a 6, mate.
Sorry, 6. Okay, Pat Oates gives him a 5. King of Assists, 5.5. Great point, Chris Baker. Leonard, 6. Mahrez, 6. From Carl, BHE, 5. Looked very lazy. Cameron gives him a 6. Mark Armstrong, 4. Sell. That's a new song. Mahrez, 6.5. Average. Mahrez, 6.1. Nothing to say about him. Needs to trap back, though. Scott Williams said the game is about trapping the ball dead, 10. But as it's a team game, 6. Going off helped the balance of the team. Good point. We know his control is immense. 5. Very poor, says Shedders. Peter Curry, 6. Step over King. He is. 5. Garbage first half. Simon, 5. Mahrez, 4 from Ray. Charlie, Otamendi scored a great goal for Benfica. Very good. Diaz 7. I like that something. They always have. King of Assists, Mahrez. Over with? I'm not sure. Give me a clue. Oh my God, what a frustrating play, Mahrez. 5. Callum wasn't his best performance yesterday. 6. Scotty, I forgot he played. 7 was okay. Ivor, Mahrez, I sound like a stuck record. No comment. 5. SOS 6.5. Stephen Dempster, Mahrez a 0. That's the first. Oh no, it's a second. Mahrez 0 from Alex Johnson as well. Bit harsh. 7 only because he ran back. Mahrez lazy passenger, just bobbins. Oliver's Army 7. Dudley gives him a 6.5. Butchers for how will Aguero fit the squad since we're doing a very good job attacking? Yeah, maybe that's a question for another time, mate. Hope he leaves in the summer. Right, let me just go down any of the scores, but he gives him a 6.5. Mara's out, Messi in, bro. Yeah, that would be nice. I'll take that all day long. But what does Simon Bajowski say quickly? Mara's playing predominantly on the right. He struggled to get involved with little direct support from Cancelo in behind, and no surprise that he was the first to be substituted. Gave him a 5. That's a low score, but on your account, that is exactly what he gets on here. Mahrez gets a 5 from everyone. I must admit, I know Kurt always likes to find the positives, which is great, but I thought he was poor yesterday.
No, don't get me wrong. He was the worst player in a City shirt, and he got my lowest score of the night. I still think going forward, he was an option on that right side.
Yeah. No, I get what. I get what you were saying.
My lowest scores tonight, and there's a reason. That right side wasn't particularly. Bernardo was the only good thing about that right side yesterday.
Yeah, and that's it's a fair point.
Yeah,
it is a fair point. Right, that leaves us on to somebody who I thought had a very good game yesterday, not like I always say, but I thought he did have a very good game yesterday, and that was Raheem Sterling. I was really pleased for him. So there you go. Raz is the player we're talking about next. Chris?
Yeah, he's our main threat going forward, I think, for pretty much the whole game. I thought it was his best game for a while. He gave Trent a really hard time. He was involved in major involvement in the first goal. Scored the third, won a penalty. He was all over. I thought he had a really good game. So I'm going to give him, he's one of my sort of contenders for man of the match. So he's an 8.5.
Okay, an 8.5, Kurt.
I thought he was absolutely fantastic. Because you've got to remember what he's like at Liverpool and his normal performances at Liverpool, and what he did last night was amazing. Like I said, in the first half, I was a bit annoyed about him tracking back, but after the change in the second half, he was great. I'll give him a 9. It's not his fault that Gundogan missed the penalty.
Yeah, fair point. Okay, 9 then. Dukes gives him a 9.1. Had TAA on toast. What are your guys' thoughts on him being captain? No, it's not for me. I said it on the vlog yesterday. No, not really. I don't know. While he's on it, what are your thoughts? Raheem Sterling as captain. I think I said no. I think somebody made a comment last night, and I wasn't having to go back at him, but it was like, well, I wasn't sure what his comment was. And he was probably making a sensible comment about the vlog where I turned around and said, oh, I'll take Diaz every day over Raheem Sterling. And Diaz went immediately and give away the penalty. But I think I'd still take a Diaz over Sterling for me.
I think Diaz is the future captain of the team. At the minute, for me, Gundogan is the one who's setting the standards.
Yeah. Furness there. So, I mean, you would take Furness. Yeah. But if he said that none of those are going to be captain this season, it had to be next season. They had to choose between Diaz and Sterling. I'd probably take Diaz personally. Yeah. Who knows? Players vote for it apparently, according to Pep. So it'd be up to the players. CM City an 8. Simon says a 9. BHE says an 8. It's got him all 9. Frustrating and fantastic. Yeah, you're probably right with that. 8 King of Assists Sterling. My man of the match, a 9 from Andy Milnes. Tyrone 9 made Trent look novice defender. Neil gives him an 8.5. Butchers 4 gives him destroy Trent, deserves an 8.5. What have I just missed? Well, we're up to everything. In fact, they're just finishing off now finally with the final few players for the for the player ratings, and then we just got man of the match, and that's it. Leonard London's will be done in about 5-10 minutes. Leonard London 8.5, Sterling a 9, Danny B88 8.5. Sometimes plays questionable passes, but I Trent on toast. Thank you, Danny, for that. You're welcome to the channel. Dudley Lewis 9, 8.5. Majestic, says Jack Lee. Ray Fernley says an 8, lost the ball a few times. FIFA how are you, mate? Gives him a 7. Peter Curry 9, scared the life out of them. That's what my thoughts. Sterling 9, man of the match, says Stephen Dempster. Shedders 8.5, exceptional second half, best game for a while. Agree with that. SOS 9 did say you would bet with no fans. Wish we could play there with no fans all the time. Scott says Raz 9 had Trent in a meltdown, underrated, and his football intelligence is something to marvel. Though he played very well at Burnley, getting back to form after a rest. Yeah, good point. Andy Mills is also saying Diaz for captain. Ivor says Raz unplayable in the second. Brilliant. I don't do halves because I've got nads. Gives him a 9. Cameron 9 had Trent in his back pocket. Yep, he did. Anyone else? Alex says 9. Carl says 8 on there. Alec Johnson says 8.5. There you go. Oh, that was Rodri. Don't know what Rodri's coming up for. But anyway, Sterling, Simon Pachowski, undeniably his most fruitful performance at Anfield, a driving run into the box, 1-6 penalty, another made for the first goal, and he even got his first goal at this ground since moving to City in 2015. Gives him an 8. Ooh, I think that's
Simon, though, isn't it?
Very hard. I'm going to go somewhere in between. Lots of 9s on here and lots of 8s and things. So I'm going to go in the middle and give Raheem Sterling an 8.5, which leads us on to this man. And while I just go and check, Chris, have you got control of the comments?
I haven't, mate, no.
You both haven't?
No, sorry.
Okay, no problem. I'll stick with this then, and we'll finish it up very quickly. I've got to take my dog out. Let's go with Phil Foden. What is there to say about Phil Foden, Chris?
Well, I think it is really easy to wax lyrical about him, but I think he really came to life when he got put out on the right wing, which is after 72 minutes. So I thought he looked lost in the first half. I thought he was isolated. Not all his own fault. He was playing in a position he's not used to it as well. But once he got switched over to the right-hand side, it was world-class performance from him. Dynamic. I'm going to give him an 8, which is really generous, but I'm going to give him an 8.
An 8?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Kurt?
It's really for me. It was really hard to sum up the whole performance of Phil Foden because I know a lot of it was a game of two halves, a lot of people's performance. But Chris does make the very good point that the level of difference of his effectiveness of the game when he got moved out after that Jesus is incredible. I gave him an 8.5 just because he's a young lad and he showed so much calmness and confidence in front of the goal and. He didn't have to take that shot. We were 3-1 up. He's gone, I'm taking this on. I'm doing it. And, yeah, I gave him an 8.5. I thought he played really well in that second half.
Okay. Dupes gives him a 10.1. What can I say about this guy? He's just class. Man of the match for me. King of Assists gives him a 9.5. Leonard gives him an 8.5. Alec Johnson gives him a 9. A 10. Carl also gives him a 10. BHE, 9. Quiet first half. What would he get if he had a decent first half than BHE? An 11.5 or a 12? 10. What can you say? Says Dudley Lewis. SOS 9. Best last 20 minutes I've seen from any player. Wow. Andy Mills, Foden, very close behind Sterling for me. Also a 9. Butchers 4. 9. Foden deserves a spot in the England team. I think he's cemented that already. Foden lost in the first half. Football games are about defining moments, and he had the most yesterday. Man of the match, a 10 from Ivor. Well, Mark the Blue, Foden, pure class, a 9. King of Assists, Foden, 2 goals. 2 goals? And an assist, 9.5. I don't think Foden only got 1 goal, but he did get an assist. Well, all right, you could say 2 assists with the shot of Alisson, I guess, but only 1 goal. 9 just gets better and better, says Scotty Moll. Foden, 8.5 from Stephen Dempster. Again, like Gundogan was unreal in the second half. Amazing goal, 9. Peter Curtis, an 8.5. Jack Lee, 9. Absolutely class finish. So does Neil. He thinks it's a 9 as well. Harder Oaks gives him an 8.5. Ray Fernley says Foden 10 just for that goal. It was a brilliant strike. Shedders 1.8. Chris is spot on. He came alive once he moved to the right. Scott Williams, Foden 9 played 2 different positions, dropped out the game at times, but couldn't split Phil and Raz with a Rizzler joint. Man of the match. Excuse me, man of the match for him. BHE says 11.5 at least, mate. Is that what you would have given him? JV is on. Foden is an absolute choice to watch and a 10. Cameron Dempsey, 10. He's 20 years old, played a massive part in all games. He's 20 years old, playing like a player who's been playing for a few years. He has been playing for a few years, and he's a player who's been playing for a few years, and you're spot on, mate. He's still a baby at the end of the day. At 9, their defence couldn't touch him. They couldn't. Either Foden got 1, because I know his auntie. Random from either there. Well, he gets a +1 because you know his auntie. Okay, there you go. Simon Bajowski said 2 isolated in the first half. He had more joy when roaming more after the break and an essential role in the first goal, and was even better for the second, growing in confidence as the Liverpool defence faltered. Then he goes and scores a screamer and gave him a 9. So that's high praise from Simon Bajowski, giving him a 9. So I'm going to have to go on people's scores here, not your scores and our scores. Right. It's going to have to go a 9 because there's 10s and there's 9s and loads of 9s and 10s and whatever else. So Phil Foden from you guys gets a 9, which leads us on to finally. I'm going to let you have a think about this. I'm just going to nip out and take my dog out for a quick pee. I'm going to leave it, Kurt. You can read the comments out, but you wanted to talk about crosses and things, didn't you? Before we decide on the man of the match, you wanted to talk on crosses. I'll leave you with that one, and then you can read out the comments. You and Chris can read out the comments if you can't access it, and I'll be back in a second.
Yeah, well, I was thinking about recently, lads and ladies, that our build-up plays changed a lot since we've started using Cancelo or Zinchenko in this sort of like second 8 role, and so I started looking at the crosses and the number of crosses that we were putting in last season, and I found out that we were first in the league in all 20 teams in regards to crosses last season, and it averaged out at 24 crosses per game we were doing last season. And on the current stats for this season, the projected number per game this season will be 16.5. So a big drop off from 24 a game to 16.5 a game. And we're also 16th in the table for crosses in comparison to, as I said, last season, where we were first. So I just wanted to pose a question to Chris and some guys in the chat, what we think that there might be the reasons for it. Is it possibly because of the false 9 we're not putting as many balls in the box? Is it the change in the build-up play from our fullbacks, why we're playing more inside balls, that the crosses aren't happening as much? Could it be that we're just a little bit more defensive this season? I just wanted to have a little bit of a chat about that quickly and see what people's thoughts were, because I thought that was very interesting, because a lot of the problems we had last season were people, why do we keep crossing? Why do we keep crossing when we've got 5'5" strikers, you know? So I don't know if you've got any thoughts on that, Chris.
Well, have you got? I don't suppose you have, but I'm just going to ask anyway. Have you got the season before statistics on how many crosses we put in?
No, I've not got them. I can get them right now for you, mate. It won't take a second.
Okay. Because I'm just wondering. Last year, certainly against Wolves at home last year, that's all we did. We had no plan B. We just seemed to sling the ball into the box. It seemed to be, if we didn't get an early goal, that seemed to be our modus operandi, was to just chuck it into the box and see what happened. I think we're playing far better football this year. We're getting our noses in front as well in a lot of games. Not so desperate. I think we're playing a much better style of football. Yes, it's more defensive. It's not as exciting, but it's definitely more effective. definitely. I think the way we're playing at the minute is as well. I've seen City play for a long time, and I'm finding it hard because everyone knows that what I think of Kevin De Bruyne, and I know lots of people feel the same about him. He's a wonderful player, but are we actually playing better without him? I think it's a fair question. I don't know what you think.
I think the thing that changes when we have De Bruyne in the team is everyone looks to give him the ball more than they look. When De Bruyne is not in the team, it feels like if there's an option left or right, it's a 50-50 whether they go left or right. It feels like when De Bruyne is in the team, are they going to give it to De Bruyne? So I think that does pose a little bit of a problem for us. But just going back to the crosses, I checked the season before last, so 2 seasons ago, it would have averaged out about 20 crosses a game. So it's this season still lower than even that, but not by as much. Last season was a considerably large amount of crosses per game we were putting in. It was I know for me and a lot of other fans, it was a big frustrating point. So I don't know if other people are really happy to see that number go down by a considerable margin. But yeah, I do think, to your point, Chris, so we do play a lot more fluid. You'll see sometimes teams like PSG, when they don't have Neymar in the team, they look like a better team sometimes. Sometimes when you don't have your best player in the team, sometimes Spurs look a better team without Kane in it. Certain games, I think sometimes when you've got your best player, he attracts attention, and I think Kevin De Bruyne does that, and that's probably. That could be to a point of why we're seeing a bit more fluidity with him outside the team.
So I was put down. I was shocked by those crossing stats from last season. Did we score from any? And Scott Williams has put down. I think you know the answer. Ivor only scored once from a corner last season, if my brain is working correctly. So I mean, I know corners and crosses might be different, but. How many goals do we get from crosses? It doesn't seem to be.
Most of the time we get goals from crosses. It's from the second part of the action after it's either been headed out and played back wide, and it's a low number cross. Most of our productiveness from crosses are cutbacks and drill balls, like we used to see when it was like Sane to Sterling on the back post, that sort of thing. That's the most effective way to cross the ball. Whenever it goes 3 inches above the ground, it starts to be problematic for us. You're right, mate.
Yes, I've just left him here. It's freezing outside. It's snowing. Just bring up some comments. We play without a natural striker most of the season. I did catch the end of your chat there. One at a time, the focus has shifted a bit to defending, and offensively will improve time along with crosses and free kicks and corners. And remember, KDB's got off the ball a bit lately, but he's still probably our best set piece person, isn't he? Andy Mills, there were 2 different high crosses last season with nobody in the middle making it easy. Different approach this season. I agree with that. We've got Sala Jones says crosses this year are also more flat and direct instead of being lobbed in. Ive says we've been crossing to the ghost of Checo for years. Maybe Pep simply told them to stop pissing about. Okay, we changed out. No strikers. Not sure it's down to one reason though. People say Mahrez was awful, but anyway, that's Kurt on his crosses. Thanks for that, mate. On to man of the match. This is going to be difficult, I think, tonight, because we only have to look at the scores, don't we? And so many people with close scores, but you're going to have to pick one, Chris. And I know you're probably torn between a couple or maybe even more. What I will do before I do that and come to you, Chris, I'm going to read out. I did put it on the community chat this morning. Well, not this morning, this afternoon. And I said, who was your man of the match? And maybe I just need to refresh that because it will probably come up with the old ones because I had it open. So let's see. We had 146 votes. The options were Foden, Gundogan, Zinchenko, Sterling, and Bernardo. Foden won it with 79%. Gundogan was second with 15%. Sterling third with 3%, and then Bernardo and Zinchenko both got 1% of the vote. So, Chris, who was your man of the match?
I'm going to say that it was Raz, with honourable mentions to Stones, Rodri, and Foden.
And Zinchenko and Diaz and
Zinchenko had a good game.
I'm going to give it Raz, but honourable mentions too. Blah, blah, blah. Yeah, it's such a tight one. And I'm sure there'll be lots of people who will have different opinions on that. So yours is Raz. What about you, Kurt?
It is really splitting hairs between it. For what did it for me? What did it for me was I thought about the holisticness of the game and not try to take away the individual moments and not overweigh them as opposed to the balance of the game. And I thought Raz drove us forward all game. He set the tempo going forward. He scored his goal. He made a goal. He made an action for the penalty. He was my man of the match.
Well, that's all three of us. I gave it just.
Yeah, hairs.
Yeah. I agree with you too. I just gave it to Raheem Sterling last night. BHE says Foden. Dupe says Foden for the second half. Andy Mills, Sterling just ahead of Foden. This is the thing, isn't it? And again, Rodri, we're Gundogan player of the year. So you got Rodri on that. On reflection, I'm going to give it to Sterling, says Scotty Moll. SOS, Sterling made things happen in both halves. The Dale man says Foden, man of the match. Mark the Blue also agrees with the Dale man and says man of the match. Cheddars One says Bernardo was exceptional, his best game of the season. I'm assuming that's your man of the match. Foden, simple as momentman's game. Raz was great, but that's expected. Foden is young and stepped up when the world was watching. Kingdom Assist says Gundogan for me. Man of the match, too close call, but because of his two great assists, I'll choose Mr. A. Becker. Very good. Bend over. Oh, bend over. Good evening. Sterling for me, says Peter Curry. Hi, everyone. Don't worry, the Lazio Blue, we're about to go. Mara 0, bit harsh. We're on about man of the match, mate. I'm sorry, I'm a City fan, but this is mockery. It's just like an awful... Okay, there you go. It's like Arsenal Fan TV, is it really? Well, okay.
He's been chainsawed, Andy, and we've thanked
you
very much for his wonderful opinion. Yeah, it must be such an important person in his life. Go and do one, dickhead.
Yeah, so much so that it's actually come on and watched it and made a comment. So if you didn't like it that much, and I know. There you go. I like Mr. Bendo. I don't know who Bendover is. Maybe he's a City fan. But Cameron Foden or Gundogan says player of the month. But we all know it will go to Rat Boy Bruno. John Stone's got player of January, didn't he? He got player of the month, City. Scott says, can't split Raz and Foden. Yeah, it's a difficult one. No, Allison is man of the match for those assisting players like Prime Messi. Where were we up to here? Sorry, big jump for me. What were we on there? Stephen Dempster wanted Sterling. He's gone forward. Dudley says Foden. You can't pick one. Lassell Blur says, I'm a bit late. Evening. How are you, OG baby? Don't worry. You can watch it back going. Guys, I want to thank you for the great stream and great content. Great job, Andy and Kurt, for the watch along, and Chris for coming on and modding. Thank you very much, dudes. Alec Johnson, Pep, 10 out of 10. We're not done, Pep. We're just on the man of the match. But if you think Pep, you're probably in with a shout for me. Well, it's a fair call. We didn't sort of work putting him in, but yeah, well said, Chris, says BHE. Well said, Chris, says Peter Curry. And Chris is saying thank you. OG the baby, a bit late. We're having breakfast now. Says Andy Foden is a future City and England captain. Is that a question there? Because you've got maybe is Foden a future England captain? If that's a question. Before we move on, Chris, Kurt, yes or no? Very quick.
Possibly. I don't know personality. I don't see him as a captain type player, but he could grow into one.
Bit early to tell, isn't it? He's only 20. Larry, I think the stats was funny. Chris, Stones or Diaz captain? Yeah, maybe. Don't you think when Walsh dived, it looked like he got sniped for Walsh?
He might have been auto-corrected or something.
It might have been. The only Walsh I remember, well, only a couple of them. One was played for Leicester and the other one was Paul Walsh. But maybe he morphed into Mo Salah last night. Man City UEFA Champions League game moved to Budapest 24 February. Well, we know, said on that Friday night social we did, didn't we? I said this could be when we talked about, everyone was going, why are you talking about COVID and blah, 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 blah. Said it could be a big thing. And I think Liverpool's game is moved, hasn't it? Because they were in Germany. That's going to move as well. And so is that true? I've not seen that, Simon. I've not seen that.
Seems reasonable. I thought they were moving the German fixtures to Denmark because.
Yeah. Well,
I thought.
Well, it could be. It could be absolutely spot on. I'm not saying you're wrong, Simon. I just haven't seen it because we've been doing this vlog tonight. So if that's true, there you go. Salah, not Walsh. Yeah, we guessed that. Tom with Cancelo, Kurt with Zinni. Something fishy.
I like all left backs, mate. That's
we are.
I love all left backs.
No prisoners with Chris and Ivor tonight. Must be something in the snow. Who's Walsh? Yeah, Pep 9.5 says Leonard. Man of the match Foden. That goal was wow. Man of the match Pep said Duke. So yeah, maybe we were talking about players. Maybe Pep should really take man of the match for his little tweaks. But at the end of the day, that's his job. In it, at the end of the day, the players have to carry out the instructions, and I think they did that in the second half. We have Klazowski Siemens. Great greetings from Radcliffe, lads. Come on, City. Or greetings. There you go. Phyllis says, I'll have you know, I have not destroyed anything in my kitchen since November. City's form is linked to my milder attitude. Simon said it's on the BBC. There you go. So maybe you can bring that up. Actually, I can do that right now. I've actually got the BBC up on here. Let's just double check because I'm sure that's true. If it is, COVID battle. Here we go. So Champions League, Borussia Mönchengladbach versus City moved to Budapest. It says City's Champions League last 16 first leg against Mönchengladbach will be played in Budapest, Hungary, after they were banned from travelling to Germany. Germany has banned most travel from countries affected by the new variants of COVID-19, including the UK. The game will take place at the Puskás Arena on the same date, the 24th of February. Fellow Premier League side Liverpool also had their last 16 first leg against Leipzig moved to Budapest. UEFA thanks Mönchengladbach and City for their close cooperation and support, as well as the Hungarian Football Federation for agreeing to host the match. Premier League leader City will host the return leg at the Etihad on the 16th of March. So there you go. So Simon, thank you very much for pointing that out, mate. I really do appreciate it. But like I said a couple of weeks ago on the FNS, it's going to cause problems. It will cause problems, but it looks like they're finding solutions to it one way or the other. Dupe says, make sure you like and subscribe if you haven't. Yeah, don't forget, give us a thumbs up if you can. Still got 81 people on at the moment. Bet Pep won't get manager of the month. God. Probably not. SOS said definitely Budapest. Liverpool's fixture, yeah. Liverpool's is also in Budapest. Sorry, I'm only catching up with your comments now. It's been confirmed, yeah. Wayne gives 10 for Salah's dive. Yes. Hamza says Diaz still the best centre-back. But there you go. Jack Lee thinks it's Alisson. Noah says, did Pep switch it to a 4-4-2? He did. Are you nervous for Spurs? Not in the current form we're in, no. Foden, 10. Ivor says, I'm off, boys. Great result and great entertainment tonight. Stay safe, Blues. Good night. And you too, Ivor. Thank you very much, mate, for all your usual witty comments. Stephen Dempsey, Pep gets a 5 because he should have started the game like he did for the second half. Oh, come on, Stephen. Jesus. My God. Let's celebrate such a fantastic performance and a great bit. I mean, put it this way. If Pep only gets a 5, what does Klopp do for not reacting to Pep's change? Shows you the difference in ability between the two managers.
Those Klopp changes were weird. I said it on the watch.
Yeah, bizarre. Bizarre.
Weird. Very bad.
Yeah.
And Klopp's saving his reactions for after the games now. They're legendary, aren't they?
Yeah, they're just becoming more pathetic as they go. Foden for PM next year. I'm dislike Spuds. Hopefully we'll beat them. I don't like Kane, but don't mind Son. probably take either, if I'm being honest.
Players.
Take both, mate.
I'd definitely take Son, but I'd take Kane as well. Zinni was unreal. He was here a bit late, mate, but watch it back. I haven't been seeing a lot of Liverpool fans wonder why, like always, like the rags anyway, aren't they? They just go into hiding. Here we go. Ryan Lusinga, your club is oil money. It is, mate. It absolutely is. It is.
I love a bit of oil.
That's why we are so loaded. We are
basketball.
wadded.
Sport, mate.
He's a basket. Yeah, he likes basketball.
Oh, sport.
My basketball. But I mean, it's a bit of a poor effort from Ryan Lusinga, isn't it? I mean, trying to come on here going oil money, like we're going to go, oh no, don't call us oil money. We have got tons of oil, mate. That's why you can up your car. All that.
They call that black gold. That's what they call that, liquid black gold.
They do. It's like
pudding.
I know. They're just they are frightening, aren't they? They think opposition fan channels and go, oil money. I mean, at least if you're going to come on an opposition fan channel and try to be funny.
Yeah, they can't, Andy. It's just they
just can't, can they? They are
bitter, jealous, horrible people.
Yeah.
Thick as a badger's foreskin, mate. F off.
There you go.
There you go. Realization they got no chance when they fought for a week. They did, you know.
Yeah, just is what it is.
Yeah.
Want some tissues? Says Man City fan. Why are the people always hating? Don't understand. Because they're sad, mate. They're absolutely sad. We all chug oil, says BHE. We do, mate. That's what we do. And just keep chugging it. Keep chugging it. We don't care, says SOS. Leonard said, great show, Andy, Chris and Kurt. Thank you. Cheers. You're more than welcome, Leonard. As usual, thank you for your contributions. Yeah. He said Hudson's feet were cold. Klopp excuse he did. One chop your dick off. You've not been on for a while. Ryan, your car is oil money. Absolutely one chop. You're spot on. What's wrong with oil money? Absolutely nothing. Hope you all have an electric car, fella. If not, keep filling it up. Much appreciated, says Scott. Ryan Lusinga, stick to finding friends. Oh, you see what I mean, Ryan? You've caused it now, mate, haven't you? Poor humour, and you're just getting absolutely slated now live on Man City Fan TV. So there you go. They are hated. They are haters. Oh, sorry. Right, finally, any other things? I feel sorry for clubs that are owned by chip fat companies. Mingy, don't worry, Andy. They're just jealous. Of course they are. The game would have been over if Pep would have played 4-4-2 in the first half. Oh, Stephen, come on, mate. Come on. You can do it. Come on, be positive. It was an amazing result and puts us 10 points clear with a game in hand over Liverpool and puts us 5 points clear of United in second with a game in hand as well. Do you like Laporte playing left back more than Zinchenko or Mendy? We said it earlier. Well, all right, just a yes or no, Chris. Laporte playing left back over Zinke right now?
No.
There you go. Kurt?
No, horses for courses. You pick the player for the team.
There you go. Cheddar says, my nan used to say, jealousy is such an ugly trait. Let's see. Anybody else? Man City fan says, when we win the UEFA Champions League, it would be music to their ears, but our board said they would burn the UEFA Champions League trophy if we won it. I'm not quite sure our board have said that, mate, I'll be honest with you. Yeah, maybe deep inside, but you have no authority here, Ryan. No authority. One shot dick. I said Liverpool were flashing the pan. They have VAR. Hell, now they're done. Back to Europa League, and it's looking that way. Dupe says Chris Chainsaw is deadly. Not sure why these people want the taste of it, but you know, we should play a back three. Yeah,
we do a lot of the time.
It's not like we play a natural back three. We play a four with people going into a three on overloading one side or the other. We do actually play really with a three already. Start with a four and then one moves one side, one moves the other. Hey Andy, do you agree Sterling is better than Mane? Mane's a great player. Sterling's, for me, I would have one or the other. I'd get Sterling every day of the week, but Mane's a good player. He's still a good player. But I think I was watching something else today. Here's a final thought. Do you think Liverpool have come to the end of their they did everything to get them to where they were to win the Premier League title last year. And do you think that's it? They've like I talk about that curve. They've gone over that curve now with many of their players. Do you think it's time for a real rebuild, like maybe a Salah and Mane being sold and a Firmino go in, and the likes of Henderson in next year and whatever else? What are your thoughts on that, Chris?
I don't think Liverpool are finished. I think you can't say that they have not had some key injuries this year.
Oh yeah,
like we had last year.
Yeah.
Playing Henderson and Fabinho as their centre halves didn't know favours yesterday. Klopp had the option to play proper centre halves, but he chose not to.
Yeah.
But every team needs to evolve. Every team needs to, bring in a player or two every season. And it's what City failed to do really when they didn't bring in company. Make a company replacement. So maybe Liverpool are a little bit behind the 8 ball, but they're not far away from being, our main challenger. For a few seasons. I give United the due; they're starting to climb up as well. But no, I think Liverpool's still there or thereabouts, mate.
I mean, I know this is Man City Fan TV, but there's no harm in talking about other teams, don't just have to talk about City only, because at the end of the day, we've got several teams that are in the race against us, and it's not over yet. It isn't over yet, but it's looking that way if we continue the way we're going in the next 3 weeks. But Kurt. Can you see some of their big players leaving in the summer if they finish this season with nothing after being the Premier League title winners, and then getting nothing, or coming outside of the Champions League? Sorry, my dog's like going, open the door. If they finish outside of the top 4, you see some of their big players going, not sure I want the Europa League next season.
I see some of their big players leaving at the end of the season, irrespective of where they finish. Even if they won every single competition, it's this. Like I said to you yesterday on the stream, that I think they missed a trick in freshening up their front line. They missed a trick getting centre back. Them complaining about their injuries and then sticking with Matip when they knows these biscuits is laughable. So I personally think, taking off the bias are Liverpool fans and all that, like talking about just them as a club, they were extremely unlucky not to win a Champions League and Premier League double with the we got, just because of how absolutely superb we got. And the year before that, they were off the boil. So thought about it, they would have had a Champions League, a Premier League, a Champions League final, and then a 3rd place or whatever. Then they would have had a Premier League and a Champions League. Then they would have had a Premier League. So that in that little 3 or so seasons would have been absolutely sensational. But we just scored so many points that we were obviously unable to do it. Because let's be fair, you score over 90 points and you don't win the league. It's crazy. It's absolutely mental. But in regards to them selling the players, I think a lot of their players are going to get sold on. I think a lot of them. Liverpool fans want rid of Origi, Firmino. They want rid of all those players as quick as they can. They don't want rid. I think. There's a lot of chat that they're trying to get Mbappe, and that might be a case of they basically sell the whole front line and go in for Mbappe. I heard a little bit of chat about that, but how realistic that is with their owners. But they're definitely going to have to sell some players, mate. Salah's gone.
Interested. Well, there we go. Sorry, my dog is trying to get out. He's trying to go upstairs to bed where my missus is, but he's knackered. Yes, I want to say a massive thank you. So does Stanley. Look at him. He's goosed. Yes, I know. City fan, aren't you? You're a City fan, aren't you? Yes. I want to say a massive thank you to everyone who's come on tonight. Absolutely brilliant. Some amazing comments, some very funny comments as well. So I've really enjoyed it. And I want to say a massive thank you to Chris and Kurt. Cheers, Chris. Thank you very much, mate. Hope you're keeping well.
Yes, thanks, Andy. Hopefully we can break this record with a win at Swansea on Wednesday.
Well, is that going back to what? Anyone know the year that goes? Is it 1887 or 18?
We jointly hold it with Arsenal and Huddersfield, and Huddersfield is right.
Is it Huddersfield?
Yeah. The Arsenal one's not that long ago, but
no. Yeah. I can't remember the date though.
It's 18 something.
Yeah. It's 18 something. I mean, that will be phenomenal. It really will.
consecutive winning streak at any club he's ever managed as well, I believe, unless I'm mistaken on that. I'm pretty sure that's correct.
What's that?
The longest consecutive winning games as a manager.
Yes.
Sure.
Yeah, and also we've got Raheem Sterling. I think it was mentioned last night. Raheem Sterling under Pep Guardiola. We've got 220 goals for Messi, 120 for Herrera, and 100 for Raheem Sterling. So well done to Raz for getting into the echelons of and he's not a striker, is he? And I see Messi curled in another free kick or something last night. So let's hope we get Haaland, Messi in the summer. I'll just put my bag down, and who knows what will happen. But anyway, this is Andy from Man City Fan TV. I want to say a massive thank you, and thank you to everyone who the watch along. The watch along was phenomenal last night. We got huge amounts of views, and if you've not seen the watch along, I know some people don't like to go back and think, oh my god, it's 2.5 hours of Andy and Kurt going blah 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 blah. There is a best bits, and in there you can go and watch. It's about 30 minutes, and it takes you right through the game from the start to finish, and a bit of post match as well. Live celebrations of goals and disappointments with penalties going high into the stand by Ilkay Gundogan. But another wonderful performance by Man City. And yes, absolutely amazing. I'm just going to bring in a couple of comments before we go. Let's just go back. We've done the man of the match. Stanley has been replaced by Leroy. Yeah. Scott Williams, great stuff, Blues. A great 48 hours to be a Blue. Take care. At least Stephen Dempster, we have got 40 points, so we shouldn't go down this year. That's very true. Cheers for the stream. Thanks, Noah. Gorgeous dog, OG. Thank you very much. Andy, would you have Solar at City? Not now. No, not now. Maybe a couple of years ago, but not now. Massive thank you to you guys too. Wonderful show tonight. Great job, Andy Kurt, MCFC, and Chris Baker. Thank you, Dupe.
Cheers, dude.
Take care, Blues, says SOS. Pep's new style is coming home. Andy Mills says, cheers, guys. Bring on the Swans. Yeah, it is. What annoys me is that would Trafford and Liverpool turn down Sheikh Mansour if he wants to buy up? No, they wouldn't have done. Absolutely wouldn't have done. Anyone else? Top of the league, says Alec Johnson. Minor gap is going to get bigger. And OG DeBavy gives us I think that's a clap. I'm not very good with my emojis. Is it a clap? Is it?
I think so.
I don't know. I would like Fernandinho to start with Rodri. Age is just a number. Fernandinho still has the brilliant quality. Oh, it's a close one. It's a close one. But hopefully the rumours are true that he might have been offered a coaching position at the end of the year in the summer. With that mistake, he might not get a player coach role, so he can still fill in where needed. But it would be great to have Fernandinho on the coaching staff because there's no messing about with that fella. And I think he'd be a really good, very experienced player, played international football as well at the highest level. So, guys, take care. Swans next. Very quickly, Chris, Swansea through, yes or no?
Yes.
Can't be on it. Really?
Yeah. They're doing all right, those Swansea, to be fair.
Yeah, they are.
But
Big changes?
should be.
Yeah, lots of changes, mate.
Yeah, I agree. Kurt, Swans?
Yeah, 5 or 6 we should get through. They're a good side. They've done Norwich on the weekend. They are looking strong.
Yeah.
And they do play some decent. They always have done, to be fair. They always play some decent stuff down there. Should be a good game.
They should.
FA Cup.
Yeah, absolutely. But anyway, this is Andy from Man City Fan TV. I want to say a massive thank you again to Chris and Kurt. And don't forget, go over and watch the best bits if you can't be bothered watching the watch along or you missed it last night. And yeah, we'll be back soon. I don't know when, but we will be back soon. And don't forget, if you're not a subscriber, hit that subscribe button, whatever you do. We're on our way to 17,000 now. And thank you, everyone who got us through the 16,000 barrier. And don't forget, a shout out to Martin. Martin was part of that. And we have had a quick chat over the last 24 hours with Martin. And he was on the watch along last night. So Chris just knocked Marvin's head off. I don't know whether Marvin's head's back on, but
He's
Chris,
not. He's on the floor, Marvin. Is
he?
He's headless.
Too many Jack Daniels.
Well, you know, being Marvin, mate, he's probably had too many lattes.
Kurt, thank you very much, mate, for coming on.
No problem. Always a pleasure, mate. Always nice to chat to everybody in the chat and you guys.
Fantastic. Take care, guys. We'll be back soon. Don't forget, make sure you hit that bell icon. That way you'll be notified when we are live. But take care. Have a great evening, and we'll see you soon.